Wouldn't it be wonderful if every time we're hurt by someone, they offered us a sincere apology, with restitution even, and then they never repeated the offense again? Well, that's a perfect world. And if you're watching this video, you don't live in a perfect world, nor do I. In fact, many women and wives that I work with have been begging for a single apology for years. And the most they get is, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, which isn't an apology at all. Many women, even when they're armed with concrete evidence of specific wrongdoing, are told, you're crazy. That didn't happen. The secret phone call, the affair, the watching of porn, the spending of money, you must remember that wrong. You know, pride makes apologies very hard for people. But pride, as the Bible tells us, comes before a fall. Personal, relational, and spiritual falls are always rooted in pride. And God requires us to humble ourselves in order to come to Him. Humility, recognizing our sin, confessing it, and turning from it are the steps we take to have a relationship with God. James 4:6 says that God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. The way it's supposed to work in relationships is if I accidentally hurt you, whether physically or emotionally, I don't make excuses for myself. I demonstrate care for the pain I've caused by apologizing and making restitution when I need to, even if what I did was unintentional, like maybe backing my car into your garage. When you express to someone that they've hurt you, even accidentally, it's natural for someone to want to show concern for the pain they've caused you. But when you get an I'm sorry you feel that way, it's a backhanded apology that's completely disconnected from any responsibility for your pain. And it's confusing because the word sorry is in there, but it doesn't feel like an apology at all because it's not. Now, just like so many people will not bow their knee to turn to God, there are lots of people who, for whatever reason, aren't able to humble themselves and apologize to you as their spouse or even their kids, or even to a neighbor or a friend. So what do you do if that's happening in your marriage? Your husband never apologizes, or if he does, it's one of those backhanded apologies that doesn't feel sincere. What do you need to do? Well, I think the very first step is you need to get clarity on what's really going on. So I want you to think back on your marriage overall, over the past couple of months, over the past year, even the past 5 years, and ask yourself some questions. Does your husband generally show concern for you as a person and your overall well-being? Is he usually compassionate, even when he unintentionally hurts you or the kids, even if he doesn't say he's sorry? Are there times when he intentionally hurts you or others? Is there a pattern of harsh words, physical abuse, reckless driving, or financial mismanagement or deceit? Does your husband have a pattern of denying these things when they happen, even when you have concrete evidence? Now, by answering these questions, you're getting clear on the overall patterns in your marriage. But it's also important for you to gain clarity on your own behavior when you want an apology from him. You see, we all have tendency to misread other people when it comes to their motivations for doing something. For example, maybe your husband hurt you, but when you tell him, and I know you did it on purpose, he may rightfully feel defensive and argue with you. That's not true, he says. You always think the worst of me. Now you're at a stalemate. So be careful to differentiate if he's denying the event itself or if he's denying your accusations that it was intentional. Because this is a very common area where couples get into a lot of trouble. We're firmly convinced that our interpretation of his motives is accurate. But only God can know what's in another person's heart. So let God deal with that part. But if when you answer those questions I asked you about the overall pattern in your marriage and you see your husband's general pattern shows concern and care for you, but maybe he does struggle with apologizing, maybe it's a matter of his pride or his immaturity, in this case, you may just need to learn to forbear his weakness in his character and focus on the fact that he generally is a good guy and shows good care for you. On the other hand, if you see his pattern is generally not caring for your feelings, not caring for your well-being, not apologizing, then your problem isn't that he won't apologize. It's that he doesn't care when he hurts you. And that may mean a much more serious conversation about the overall state of your marriage. I hope that's helpful.